It's your boy Carcino here. And yes, I have to be the mediator in between these two gentlemen when I don't need to be. Um, you're here to find out why this is happening and why is this dialogue happening. You see it a lot. You see it a lot when people are catering to someone who's a mega media star, and then you have someone who's not up to that par whatsoever, and they want to be in that light or in the group or the company, if you want to say, of said party. Don't forget to hit the like button, good people. It's your boy Carcino here, man. We're going to give it to you the only way we can, and that's just straight from the gut. Now, there's a lot of differences taking place here that people are just not privy to, and we're going to get into all of it because there's a lot of things put on display that shouldn't have been put on display. Like, we know who LeBron James is, right? If LeBron James have a problem with somebody, LeBron James normally don't deal with that problem. LeBron James normally turns to somebody else to deal with that problem for him. You know, we've seen this type of behavior before, and it just doesn't align with what everybody else is saying is the truth or how things should proceed moving forward. You'll see LeBron don't respond, but you'll hear someone like Gilbert Arenas or someone else respond for them in a situation that had nothing to do with them. Now, we've seen that countlessly as somebody else would come out of the woodwork to defend somebody they don't know, or not that they don't know them, it's just that they have nothing to do with it. So this is another case of that situation happening. Fat Joe had nothing to do with Dame Dash or this situation. When Dame Dash tried to align himself and was friends with Fat Joe. Now, there was a time when they were all friends. Then there was a time where they weren't friends anymore. Now, you see, Big Pun had a problem with Jay-Z. He didn't like Jay-Z. And he was always debated. He chased Jay-Z around the table. And when he chased Jay-Z around the table, it made things look weird. They said, oh, no, he didn't. He didn't chase Jay-Z around the table, did he? Yes. Pun chased him around the table trying to get his hands on Jay-Z at one point, which was a weird thing to have transpire, but that transpired. Now, what did that mean for everybody else who was in the group? Did it mean something good, or did it mean something just terrible is about to happen? Well, when you look at the case and you see how it developed, you started to see one or two things go. You started to see a major problem with how things were handled, how it was devised, and how people were going to move moving forward. Now, when you start seeing outlets, different companies, different corporations, business deals, and the tie-ins to business deals, you'll start to see the differentials and what's good and what isn't good. Now, when it came to like watching highlights to something or putting people on a pedestal to do something that was great, other people would stand in the way and wanting to block people's blessings, in other words. So Jay-Z and Fat Joe, who was all cool and they all boys, and everybody's like, all right, we cool, we got this. Now, all of a sudden, right? Oh my gosh, these people over here. Now, all of a sudden, you have a multiple problem that's hitting the scenes over a basketball tournament. Like we talking like the Rutgers basketball team, Rockefeller versus the Terror Squad team, and Jay-Z team didn't even get off the bus. The beef had gotten so bad and out of control that they didn't even get off the bus and play the final game. So Fat Joe team was awarded the victory. They was running around with the trophy. And at that time, it was crazy. It was a beef that was very unnecessary and very much on ego. Now, once you had that situation rear its ugly head, things went into another direction. I'm answering an email right now, multitasking. Okay, y'all, I see it. So as these problems start to present themselves and people start to say, all right, it's crazy. You can't do X, Y, and Z, but you actually can. People out there started to, you know, business relationship wise, wasn't dealing with Fat Joe anymore. Fat Joe, the gangster, went to Fat Joe, the blogger. A long gap is in between that. Fat Joe and his guys, the Terror Squad, was like hired muscle for rappers. That's how they stayed in the game. I mean, he had some songs back in the days in the Bronx and the mixtapes, like Mash Your Toes. Like they had all that. He used to have a baseball bat. And him and his Puerto Rican crew, they didn't really deal with black dudes like that. They really didn't. Like they used to, any black dude that was around there that was trying to holler at any Puerto Rican girl, they try to jump him, smash him, beat him up. And that's how he got the name Fat Joe the Gangster. Because he was just basically bullying these dudes out in the Bronx. Right? Him and his squad of dudes and Puerto Ricans. And most of them was just flat out racist against black people. And that's something people don't know. Now, as he started getting into more hip hop and more into the mainstream light, everything changed for Joe. Right? He was cool with Heavy D. And why he was cool with Heavy D and the Mount Vernon guys, because, he was just like, man, trying to help him out because, Heavy D was like who Fat Joe was modeling himself after now. And he was like, that's how you need to be. You trying to be a gangster and all that and make the gangster tracks. That ain't selling. Then Pun came and Pun was just a monster. So he attached himself to Big Pun. But before Pun got into his thing back in the 90s, he was just a bodyguard. Fat Joe was big. He'd get paid the bodyguard. He's like, yo, we're going to get some paper to you and your boys. We need you Terror Squad guys to come along and do this. You ain't lying. They are blocking the video. Well, when you have two of the most powerful people in the game coming after you during that time, it was going to be a mix of, chaos. But Dame ain't never really had no problems with Fat Joe because Dame didn't rap. And when he saw Fat Joe somewhere, he was like, "What's up, Joe?" No, you not celebrating. You're a New York Liberty man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, what they got? Two championships now? Nobody knows. Y'all better celebrate it. That's the only thing y'all getting. So, what was strange was is when you saw other people come around who wasn't abundantly a part of anything. When you're not abundantly attached to anything, you're gonna fall. Eventually, you're gonna fall. No, no. Fat Joe and Dame ain't never really have a problem at all. Matter of fact, Joe and Dame, they when he had Cam and all them, like Dame was trying to work with Fat Joe still, like with Dipset and all them. They was cool with Joe. They never had no problems with Joe. So they would come through and they would let some of Fat Joe people perform and do this. And this whole beef started with him and Jay over nothing. Then when Fat Joe came into the picture, everything changed. Everything changed. And it didn't make any sense whatsoever. So when you start seeing things move in a light that don't make sense to you as a person, as a creator, the content is a little jaded, you got to start asking questions. You got to say, hey, is this even worth it? I don't even know what's going on here. Now, Fat Joe was down on his luck because all of his business ventures and sponsorships was starting to run out. Pun died and everything went in a spiral for them because that's what bringing him up. And then he found his niche because he was acting like Pun. Pun brought all the energy and all the way back to Terror Squad, but he had his own crew that he rode with, like Tony Sunshine and them dudes. Like those was his guys. He didn't really deal with the underworld dealers and those people back then. He didn't really deal with them. When you have people that move in a certain way, where it's when you have people who move in a certain way where it's kind of deceptive, uh, everything after those facts don't align. Those factoids that you're used to, that you're accustomed to, They don't really matter to real people. So when he was with DJ Khaled and Khaled was having all these beats, and he was with Cash Money at the time and with Lil Wayne, Fat Joe started rapping with those guys. And Khaled is the one that made that happen, because when he was in Miami, that's when he was doing like, yo, I'm out in Miami doing my thing now. He was out there trying to bring that Miami market and that sound and trying to get Fat Joe to change. And he started being more like Heavy D. Joe's moving around. He's wearing more colorful Puerto Rican type stuff. He's going back to his Puerto Rican roots, wearing the pink flamingos and instead of wearing all black with a baseball hat and all this stuff. Now he's like, yo, I'm going to be some shorts, some sandals. I'm going to let my fat hang out. I don't care. I'm Puerto Rican. This is how we get it. So that was his motto then. They was like, man, who's writing Joe's raps? Because Joe couldn't rap like that. Now he's rapping. He must have found Pun's rhyme book, and he actually put that in a rhyme. Yo, they said Joey must have found Pun's rhyme book. That didn't last long, but still, that's what it was. So when you start looking at everything that was on the table, you had to know one or two things. It wasn't going to last long, and it didn't. Fat Joe wasn't a good businessman. And this is the problem I have with him and Dame. It's like, how you speaking on Dame Dash when you wasn't a great businessman yourself? All your Terror Squad people and everybody was fighting each other, going to jail and doing crimes. And then next thing you know, you spending bail money, and sometimes you just cutting people off completely and lying on them. Then you got your whole team turning on you. And then you get engulfed in a war with 50 Cent, which really brought you down to reduced you to rebels. And that was a guy that you was cool with all the way through when he was with G Unit. But once he saw you cool with Josh at the same time, he just went and obliterated you, and you tried to fight that back. You lost your Reebok shoe deal. You lost a lot of opportunities with sponsorships who wouldn't touch you or Terror Squad because they was affiliated with two of the biggest artists in the game who you are now like considered beefing with. So the only way for you to survive was to kiss ass. You went from Fat Joe to gangster to Fat Joe to kiss ass because your run was over. Now, everybody knows it. Like, it's not a big secret. When you start seeing other people move in a way that's like, they say, well, that ain't hip hop. That ain't this. That ain't that. It don't even matter. It don't even matter, because when you look at it in totality, it's all over. It's literally all over. You have conformed yourself. I remember I was watching a video one time. It's when he was like doing his Instagram videos, and he's sitting there, and somebody was saying something. He was interviewing. He was, oh, that's a real. This is a real Jofer moment. I said, a Jofer moment? What the hell is wrong? What's going on with Fat Joe? And I knew something was wrong then. I'm like, he don't even act like himself no more. If anybody they could say is a clone, I would say it was Fat Joe. And he had like this fake beard on, lined up, and he just looked weird. And I'm like, what's going on with Joe? And he was doing a lot of real weird stuff. And then he went on a show and basically validated my story. He went on the show and validated what happened with Biggie's I Got a Story to Tell. And when he went on there and did it, he was like stuck because he didn't even know what he was saying when he said it, because everybody came back to me once Joe did that. And I want to thank you for that, Joe. You brought a lot of people in here to validate what I was saying. And I'm very glad that you did that. You want to know why? And shouts out to my Patreons out there in the world. I'm glad y'all liking the business videos we're doing, because it's going to get even better for you. Told you we're doing business all this week. So we got more business videos for you coming this week. Yes, sir. You're going to love that. Now, let's get to the situation at hand. Fat Joe went out there and said that it wasn't about John Starks. Because Starks said, no, it wasn't about me. He said it was about Anthony Mason. And he said, whoa, we never knew that. Fat Joe only knew because he saw my video on YouTube. And he couldn't tell them that's where he knew it from. And he was like, oh, I thought everybody knew that. No, you didn't know that. Fat Joe didn't know that. Fat Joe was lying. So Diddy had to come take his side. Diddy was like, I got to clear this up for you and go out and vouch for this story, even though Diddy don't even know. Because Diddy had nothing to do with the story. But I'm quite sure they probably down the line, somebody would probably told Puff. But Puff was the stuff with, he's the guy you would keep stuff away from. Like Big is like a brother, like a son of Puff or something, like, don't tell my dad. Like, he out doing stuff that he don't want to get back to Puff. He wouldn't want that to get back to Puff. So if it went down for real, and I told the story, and everybody thought it was all cap until people start vouching it. And thanks to Fat Joe for vouching my story when he heard it, even though he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Now, that just lets you know he be talking out the side of his neck. I know. And they don't know how I know. I know because his wife know. Okay? Even though he was dating that other chick, he was married. Mason was married, and he was going through a divorce here in Chicago. Her divorce attorney is somebody we know. That's how I found out. Now, it was crazy because, well, this is the truth behind. I ain't lying about nothing. So all of this is really the truth behind. I just don't have to title it the truth behind. Listen. Cino hasn't been debunked yet all these years. Have to admit it. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's come forward and be like, yo, I'm finna debunk you, homie. It's like maybe one or two people. No, one person was mad because I mentioned the story that they was telling already, that they already told. Rest in peace to Granddaddy IU. But we getting off point. So Joe was doing that. So Joe talks out of the side of his neck. And he does it for no reason, but he does it for a reason. He needs clicks and sound bites to keep his name in attention. It's like Fat Joe exposes what really happened with Biggie's I Got a Story to Tell. So he's getting all the credit for what I actually did. But it's like, it's cool. It's all right. He now validated the story. So the people who saw my story now know the truth. Now, even on Mav Hoffa, the guys is in there, is like, yo, Fat Joe said that, right? Right? Everybody know that story, right? No, they didn't. They went to YouTube, and then my video pops up, and they watch it, and then they say, oh, yeah, everybody know that story. Yeah, because when they saw my video. So now, moving along, Dame Dash, when he had the Dame Dash music group, he wasn't even thinking about Fat Joe. He went out when he had Cam them and was like, hey, you know, when they had Rockefeller and the whole beef situation, he was trying to like saying, man, what we doing that for, man? We want to do something with Joe and with Cam and them, and, you know, we can get that market, and we want to put on a fest, you know, and have these guys do their thing. Like, what's the problem? And Dame was like, oh, Jay and all that stuff that went down with the artists at the Rock basketball game and all that stuff. And he was like, that was Jay thing. They had nothing to do with me, you know, and Rockefeller, none of the artists. That was only some basketball game. Like, really? Like, Dame is thinking corporations. Like, Dame had the Pro Kids deal. He had Armadale Vodka. He brought the liquor game in there. You know, he's about ownership and starting companies and building brands. He's into that market. Fat Joe is somebody that want to get some money from a company, had them give them some money for something. Endorse this and we'll give you some money and we'll give you some of the product. He's one of those type of guys. And he had to fight for Pun's royalties. And this is why, you know, he's still been in the game like almost as long as LL Cool J and them. He's been in there since like the late 80s, like 88, 89. Fat Joe has been around this long in the game. Now, on top of all of it, right? Hot Rod didn't debunk me, dog. He tried to talk. What Hot Rod did, let me tell you what he did. Hot Rod went there and said, man, you think that actually happened? You think that actually went down? If that didn't go down and he didn't get slapped over a sandwich, he needs to take that up with the person I named as the source. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Heard it right from the horse's mouth. So you take it up with Fifth. And since I said that, I ain't heard nothing back from him. I heard nothing back from Hot Rod. Now, why would I pick Hot Rod out? like, why would I just like, let me think. What can I make up today? Hot Rod got slapped. Be like, who is that? Who is Hot Rod? You got half the chat right now saying who is Hot Rod. So there was no need to make that up. Now, moving right along. This thing here that he did was so out of left field and so unnecessary. It just wasn't even called for. If you listen to what Fat Joe is talking about to what Dame is talking about, you see they don't measure up to one another at all. You feel me? They don't measure up. Listen to what he was saying when he was on Shannon Sharp's thing, right?
Fat Joe and I have always had a good rapport.
Right.
I don't have no issue with Dame Dash. Actually, I went back to the video. I went back to see, did I diss him? I didn't diss him. And he took something I had said prior and just accepted that. And he said that I said he was delusional. Delusional is real. If you're a genius and you're smart, then where's your... He said it. You made one, go make another one. I did not say he was delusional. I just said, I used an example where Jay-Z said in the record, if you made Hove, go make another Hove. It's very sad to see what's going on with Dave Dash. But sometimes you so smart that you stand in the way of yourself and you block your own blessing. And he responded to me. And I was surprised at Fat Joe, because he ain't got shit to do with it. And, grown men, he's from the street. We don't usually talk on other men's business, so maybe he's changed. Damon Dash, you know what time it is. Don't. You know that. You just know that. Fat Joe and I have always had a good rapport. We used to have a lot of problems with Fat Joe, Big Pun, and I would be the guy, the voice of reason to squash all that. And I think someone should ask Fat Joe about it. He could articulate it. But again.
And see, same thing I said. They had problems with them in the past. Pun never liked Jay-Z. That was one of the biggest things. Pun never liked Jay-Z. He liked Nas more than he liked Jay-Z. He looked at Jay-Z like a phony. In his eyes, Jay was a phony. And no matter how much Jay tried to be cool or cordial, Fat Joe, Pun just wasn't feeling it. Plus, he was coked out 90% of the time. When Jay was around, he was fully coked out, like on some Scarface coked out stuff. So, yeah, he was on that time. He wasn't a nice person. I'm going to tell you that about Pun. Pun ain't the guy you really think. He was not always nice.
I'm not trying to sell beer dye. I'm not trying to open up doors for people that have more money than me. I'm not trying to go into a club, make music, and be the old guy in the club and try to make myself look younger.
Right.
I like to create company. So my other Hove immediately, if we want to call it that, because he might have been generating the company $30 million, but we'd be paying them at least, a big percentage of that.
Right.
Is to create another company. That was Rachel Roy. No one ever wants to talk about the fact that I stopped hip hop music, retired, and broke another vertical that no one knows about in the designer field. Do your research, and that's Rachel Roy. Don't ever ask me about my money. That's corny.
So when he said, don't ever ask me about my money, that's corny. That's real corny. You see that? That's real corny. Don't ask me about my money. It's because it's the same thing Jay would say. Like, don't ask me about my personal business. You shouldn't even be on this show talking about me. Why are you on Club Shay Shay talking about Dame Dash when y'all have no dialogue? You speaking on him and you keep throwing that, hey, make another Hove. Make another Hove. You made a Hove, right? Make another Hove. And he was like, why would I want to make another one of those guys? Why would I want to make another him? In Jay's mind, that makes sense. Hit the like button, y'all. I know y'all in the chat. Hit the like button up. Know y'all listening good, and I appreciate that. But hit the like button up. Now, why would he want to do that? Why would he want to create another Hove? You feel me? Why would he want to create another Jay-Z? I know I wouldn't want to create another Jay-Z. That doesn't make any sense. You want to know another thing I've noticed in the game that people are doing that's just like kind of crazy? Is they have a delusion of grandeur. See, look at this. Jay-Z sold 140 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling artists in the world, right? His best-selling album is Hard Knock Life. Volume 2. He never outsold more records than Volume 2. So when you say make another Hove, let's see what happened when Jay-Z was going to retire after the Black Album. You want to know what happened after the Black Album came and went and what they actually did during that whole process and time? You know what Dame Dash did? You said create another Hove. He went and got this guy. He signed Kanye West, who sold 160 million records. He sold 20 million more records than Jay-Z in less time. He signed Cameron, who came right through the door selling 1 million records. Right through the door, he sold over 1 million records. Those are the people Dame Dash signed. Dame signed Kanye West and Cam. Jay-Z signed Memphis Bleek, Benny Siegel, Memphis Bleek, Memphis Bleek, Benny Siegel, State Property, all those dudes, those are all J people. Young Chris and Neef, all of them, that was Jay's move. That's who Jay brought in. He dumped all that money into Memphis Bleek, all of the budget money, trying to make Bleek a star. He signed Freeway. All of these were Jay moves. Now, I love Benny. Not saying that, but if you're looking at it from sales perspective, they didn't get a lot of sales. We just talked about this yesterday. They lost their shirt on Memphis Bleek. They lost their shirt on Benny Siegel's second album. Freeway album didn't sell. Even though he had that hit song and everybody loved that album, it didn't really sell like they thought. They was in the hole on them albums. And they said, well, Jay-Z album will bring us out of the fold. Once Blueprint 2 come around, we're going to be right back rolling again and it'll make up for it. Blueprint 2's flop. So now Blueprint 2 didn't dig them out of the hole. And that was the first album in the new deal. It grossly underperformed. So Dame brings in Kanye West and Cameron. Now, when they brought in Benny Siegel and Benny came in and rapped and got a record deal, when he came in and rapped, the other dude was better than him. Dame was like, we need to sign this guy. Jay was like, nah, I'm telling you, that guy's voice, Benny Siegel, we got to get his voice. That voice, we need that voice. And they brought him in. And why did he want that voice? Because DMX was coming hard. DMX was taking over everything. That sound. He needed somebody street with a sound. And Jay was like, we need to have our version of DMX. And that's going to be Benny Siegel. He was going to be the voice, the ruggedness from the streets. Yeah, so putting Benny Siegel in the beef is what ruined Benny Siegel. Putting him up against Jadakiss and all them people, and you got him making all these diss records. By the time his album come out, everybody's like looking for diss records. And then all of the verses that they were saying is on the album. You done made them perform a goddamn whole album on the radio station. So everybody done heard the songs. And then some of the beats was just lame. And they screwed that album up. Now, let's take it back to another subject. Who made whom? People love that dynamic, right? You made him, he made you. Right? They made you. Who made that? Didn't they make you? No. No, because if you look at it and for what it stands for as a man, is what he said. He built corporations. The Rachel Warry brand for art galleries, that was $100 million business Dame Dash built because he realized where the true money is. He don't want to be Fat Joe sitting around begging for somebody to do something for him. That's what Joe's used to. He often said, "Look, I'm not Sean Puffy Combs. He had to tell his kids, we ain't Puffy, we ain't Jay-Z's, like Justin Combs. Like his kids, they like 20, 21, and they was like, man, we supposed to be living like that, Pops. No, Fat Joe know Jay-Z. He cool with Jay-Z. They see each other, they dap and all that, and Jay might look out for him. 50 Cent, he cool with Fat Joe now. They ended all this beef because they know it's getting in the way of business. They don't really consort and hang out and nothing like that, but they cool. It's cordial. It's no problems. So they like, hey, hey, man, that's okay. We all good. Everybody want to end the beef. You see Cam ended the beef with 50 and with Jay, but he don't deal with them. They don't deal with each other. So when Jay was on that, I'm about to leave, and I'm about to leave Rockefeller. We're gonna split it up, and then I'm gonna go do my own thing. Rockefeller was gonna be fine without Jay-Z. Jay-Z knew that and saw that when they signed Kanye West and College Dropout did what it did. Jay-Z didn't want them to have Kanye make an album. That wasn't on his mind at all. He knew they were going to go into a whole nother stretch. So when Cam said he was the new vice president of Rockefeller Records and all of this, and Jay-Z was on vacation when they did that, when he came home, that's when these problems started. Dame was preparing and letting Leor know, if y'all trying to do these moves behind my back and Jay want to leave, he can go. We gonna make money and we gonna be straight. We got Cam in here. Cam is a business mind. We bring in Cam, and now we got Cam and we got Kanye. And he was like, even if Kanye West can't rap, we'll put Cam on every song. This dude got beats. And Jay, this is how arrogant Jay-Z is. Kanye made some of the best songs for you on the Blueprint album and brought you back to the soul sound, got you back to making a classic album, right? Instead of bubblegum all the time, you back making a classic album. And Kanye still don't have a deal. He ain't signed with anybody. He trying to get his record deal that he had over at Columbia Records. So they was getting ready to put out his album. And Dame said, man, why are we finna lose this beat maker? Just Blaze is not gonna be our guy. Jaden took him over already. See, Just Blaze used to be Dipset guy when he came in. Jay wasn't using him like that. He wasn't using Just Blaze like giving him any credit. He was treating him like a minion. That's how Jay was treating him, like he was a nobody. And he didn't care. You know, as long as he got paid for his beats and he had very little needs, he was underpaid and everything. Just Blaze didn't care. Just give him his little bit of dough and he go make his tracks. He spent all day just making songs. He was a weirdo. But he was all about them beats. So she was a teacher at our school, but I never had her class. I saw Miss Donda. She taught at Chicago State. I went there. I just never had a class. I saw Kanye there though. He used to rap with these other guys that was up there. They were like the preppy like kids. They used to have K-Swiss, the blue jean shorts, and the polo shirts. And he was working at the Evergreen Plaza. He used to come up there to the school. I thought he went to the school. And then they'll be in like the Business Administration Center or the Martin Luther King building. And they'll just be in the area where everybody like walking past and they'd be like in a huddle just rapping. Pop, 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 pop. Da, 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 da. Kanye was one of them dudes there. And then they had this dude named Bump. I don't know if it was Bump J or whatever, but they used to have his beats. He used to be rapping his stuff. But that's another story. So as you see, the story don't make sense from what Joe's saying from his perspective, right? Because from his perspective, you should be wanting to do what he's doing. You feel me? In his perspective, you should want to be a success. You should want to be getting some money, but they're seeing it from two different outlooks, you know? And it's like, yeah, you know, you got two different perspectives. Well, if you look at it from every angle, you'll be able to see it that these are two men speaking two different languages. Okay, this man is speaking Cuban. This man is speaking Spanish. Speaks he's from Mexico, speaking Spanish, and this guy speaking Cuban. They both speaking Spanish, but it's different, and they don't understand each other. So it's like that. Fat Joe still believes he's a rapper. In his mind, he's a rapper. So he's thinking in a rapper's brain. Dame Dash never rapped. He could cam them to do it. I don't rap. I do business. So that's why he's building a brand. He could have said, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to go on IG and build up a channel so that I can get a deal on something and go on Stars or something and get a deal. Now Fat Joe finna have his own Fat Joe show on Stars or something. And I'm not knocking what he's doing. That's his hustle. That's cool. That's great. Knock yourself out. But the bigger picture here, because we got to think bigger picture, is what are you doing, son? If you don't understand that world, Joe, you shouldn't speak on it. But you did it because you're doing what Gilbert Arenas just did with Kwame Brown. He wanted to try to defend Bronny James, and Kwame Brown's been going at him. So he wanted to show LeBron and Bronny got his back. So you're going to say some story, just make up some story about Kwame Brown and him being scared. When he said he was never going to talk about Kwame again, he's back talking about Kwame Brown because LeBron wanted him to do it. So you look like somebody with a battery in their back. You want to go after Dame Dash because of what you feel like he's coming at Jay-Z. So you want to defend Jay-Z for no reason when Jay would never do that for you. Never do that for you. See, this is what we talk about. You loyal even when you're not supposed to be loyal. You loyal to people that have no loyalty towards you. Fat Joe is on Stars because of 50. Exactly. We all know that. Fifth got him a deal and helped him get through the door, but Fifth is going to leave Stars. He's got his action app finna take place, just like Dame got his thing going. 50's in the right mindset, just like Dame. 50 don't have a rapper's brain. He got a cackler's migraine. And that's what you need to have in this game. You got to understand that what Dame is talking about, those numbers and those percentages, he's talking about the real game. He's trying to get into the ball game where they at. And you saying Joe was right about one thing. Yes, his attitude and the way he dealt with people, that's going to rub people the wrong way. You can't have that attitude. You can't have these angry outbursts and all of this, the arrogance get in the way. That's the only problem with Dame, is he's too smart to be making dumbass mistakes. And that's what he was doing. That used to be Dame's favorite line to people. He wouldn't call people dumb. He'd go, no, you're not dumb, you're smart. And you're too smart to be making dumbass mistakes. So what 50 Cent has built is going to amass into $1 billion corporation. That valuation is going to be worth billions in the next the next 10 years. If you look at a 10-year valuation, in the next 10 years, 50 Cent company will be worth about $1 billion. $1 billion. What Dame did is saying, I want to cut everybody out, do my own distribution, make my own like YouTube, create my own content, and put it out there so people can go and get it. No, what Dame Dash tried to do was what white folks do and get away with all the time. And he tried to do that. And they said, no, you can't do that. And the reason you can't do it is because you're black. That's basically is because you're black. Now, 91% of y'all in the poll said Dame Dash is correct. I'm seeing that right now. 90% of y'all saying Dame Dash is correct. Oh, yeah. You know, it's always that. That's always going to be the reason. You know, this is why I tell these people, man, it's like you got to understand what they're talking about and what people are coming with, because this is the dynamic that they want to have. They want to be the ones to say they did something and I'm the boss, and then you find out they're not really the boss. Somebody comes in and fire you. So how are you the boss? Oh, no. When you start saying goofy things like you'll never see that. Mm-mm. I've never seemed to understand why people were put in that perspective. Because if you don't understand the business elements of it, and Well, they don't. Most of these people don't want to do anything but something stupid. You know, you got people that's slapping each other on for money. They got people slapping each other for money. Mm-mm. Why would they care? You see, that's the problem right there. That's the point that people are missing right there. Why would they care? You see what I'm saying? Like people who are rich, they ain't got time to care. Like, why would they care about what other broke people are saying about them? Do you think Elon Musk is caring about Elon Musk or whatever is caring about what's the topic on Twitter people are saying about him? No, he don't care. They have no care for that, no concern. Fat Joe knew what he said about Dame, and he knew how reckless he said it about Dame. Right, everybody, like, watch this. Look,
Look at my friend. Look at my friend. I'm live with Dame Dash. I feel sorry for you. Dame, I said, don't feel sorry for you. You got 5 houses, 10 cars. You're fine. Everybody got their happiness, Dame. Don't feel sorry for Dame. Dame is fine. I think that's a narrative that people are trying to put out there. That's all. Nah, Dame. Fat Joe said it on Shay Shay, Dame. He feels sorry for you. I'm tired of Fat Joe playing with you.
So shout out to Kendrick.
You and Vlad went through what y'all went through.
Did I not beat the most world champions?
Annalie chop his bitch out.
This is Luca first year. I'll never forget. I walked.
Annalie.
So shout out.
I'm tired of Fat.
Welcome to Hip Hop Insights. What's going on, y'all? Dame Dash, you know what time it is. It's sad to see where he's at. Fat Joe says, watch here for more content. Like, share, subscribe.
Know what time? Damon Dash, you know what time it is. Like, don't you know that, right?
He could have just
No, but he just know the difference between me and him.
right.
Let's be clear.
now, Fat Joe goes to Ozempic Joe. Let me tell you something, Fat Joe. You have a lot of people that respect you, and that's cool. But when your respect, it's a lot of people that they respect that's broke. That still they wouldn't help out with their bills even if they could. But they respect them when they see them. Oh, yeah, well. It's a lot of people who want to it's a lot of people that want to go down that road, but do Fat Joe really want to go down that road? Well, you're Ozempic Joe now to plain Joe. He know me. He know. He know. He know what? You roll with dangerous people. Yes. Fat Joe rolls with dangerous people. If that's what you mean, you haven't been Fat Joe to anybody. You jump guys, Joe. Joe used to come to Chicago. Like he said, Common brought him to Chicago in 2003. Joe used to be here a lot, even back in the 90s. Like, I want to say 2000. Joe was up here before. He walked around in the mall, didn't have security. Now he does have security. That dude bigger than Joe. he a big husky looking Puerto Rican dude. I don't know what he is. But yeah, he's a big dude. And your wife got this damn BBL going on. She got the saggy diaper BBL. And I ran into you, Ozempic Joe. And I said, damn. No, he's only jumping black people. That's it. Every time he fought anybody, they were black. Jumped on him. Him and his terror squad guys jumping on black guys. Now, when they had an in-house problem, he got knocked out. Cuban Links knocked him out. Knuckled him up, knocked him out, put him to sleep. Then he was out the group. Y'all used razors and cut his face. The Cuban Links knuckled you up. Because he was puns, man. You forgot you tried to make your own belly. And that was the last time all y'all was together. And y'all was sponsoring Angie Martinez and gonna, help out with her rap album. I'm like, what? Angie Martinez is putting out an album? Like, he giving Angie Martinez a record deal? Are you serious? Yeah, they tried to jump him. And Fat Joe was the one that got knuckled up and got knocked out. And then they jumped him. So that's Fat Joe's legacy. It's warm with black people and having them jump. He never fought nobody head up. Because he can't fight. He's not a tough guy. He's not. No, he's from the Bronx. All of this stuff is from New York. He's from the Bronx. He's not from Miami. He tries to act like he is. He's not from Miami. Now he's Fat Joe the kiss ass. He used to be Fat Joe the gangster. The whole world right now should know what's up. Because it's nothing but problems. Every time you turn your head, there's another problem. And it's so unnecessary. If anything, if you felt Dame Dash is struggling, right? And that he ain't doing right, why don't you reach out to Dame Dash? Why don't you reach out to Dame and say, hey, Dame, since you ain't doing well, brother, let me come help you out. No, they don't want to do that. It's a lot of clowns involved. And when you got a lot of clowns in the circus, this is how it always participates. You mean choke the joke? He was in there telling another lie. Somebody else was like, man, dog, he's on Comedy Hype just lying every week. He's like, he got another crazy lie saying, he's like, you debunked, you told the whole story, the truth. This dude came out with another lie. His name should be Choke the Liar. No, he's coping with Jay-Z because Dame was out there slaughtering Jay's name and making Jay look like a snake. And once he do that, here come Fat Joe, here come the minion to try to defend him when he really got no place to. And then you're not defending him by attacking a man who knows his business and position, and you're not in that. You can't even understand the language in which Dame is speaking from. He was the main guy I was talking about. When I was talking about people that was hating on the internet. That was Fat Joe. He used to hate on guys. A couple of bloggers, these people on the internet, you know. I know what he meant to say and what he was trying to say, but he was saying it all dumb because now he's a blogger. So when I was saying these rappers was talking to bloggers, another rapper who was on here thought I was talking about him, which I wasn't. I was like, wasn't even mentioning you. You actually is not somebody who disrespected it. You came on here and did your thing. But I'm not having a problem with rappers coming on the internet telling a story. But when you diss it, then here you come sitting on the damn internet now. This was a Joker moment. I'm like, oh, what happened to you? You actually out here rapping and making records, and everybody's bloggers, and they don't know what they're talking about, and all this internet crap. I go on real TV shows, and now you sitting over there on the internet because you woke up and realized that's what the game was, but you woke up a little too late. Yeah, the Ice Cube song is nice. I heard it. It's funny.
I don't have no issue with Dame Dash. Actually, I went back to the video.
Should have never been speaking on Danny. They'll never get it because they don't understand how this works.
I tell my wife, I tell my kids, we are not Sean P. Diddy Combs or Sean Carter Jay-Z.
Right.
One day, my son, he was like 19. He was like, yo, Dad, look at this. I look at it. He got Dr. Dre's son on a private plane. You got Jay-Z. He was like, this is how the sons are moving now. I said, well, you ain't moving. Right. We ain't got that.
Right. No, you're right.
So stop looking at the motherfuckers and stay the course.
Right here.
I tell my wife.
Right. But they want to know why they didn't got it, Joe. Why they don't have it, Joe? Why they don't have it? Because you've always been a sidekick. You think Puff and them invited you around and Biggie and them invited you around because they were cool with you and all that? No, they wanted you there for protection. That's all you was a glorified doggone bodyguard. It was lies after lies after lies. You know how many times these people came and turned around and lied on everybody involved? Numerous. Terror Squad, when they was there, man, half of them are still coming home right now from jail. Yeah, they coming home just now from jail. No, a lot of them did. When they was in their area, man, they didn't like that at all. Well, it was like this because Fat Joe's wife was in the mix, and allegedly one of his homeboys was smashing his wife. Now, every time they get into a drama or something, they come up with some type of lie to try to cover for everything that they do. They tried to say, oh, Cuban Links, we threw him out because he was flirting with Fat Joe's wife. Like, everybody want Fat Joe's wife? Like, what? Is she that special? And she's not. He said Cuban Link and Big Pun's widow, not Fat Joe's wife. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Shoot, if he wanted Ashanti, he could have had her back then when Diddy was managing her. And he got jumped in Connecticut. They ran out the door one time when G Unit them was chasing them up out the building. And it was crazy because during that time, Mace was with them, and Mace was running behind Fat Joe and them too. Like, you finna chase them and get them up out of there. Well, you gotta grow. Really? You really think it's that serious? I really don't. I really don't think it's that serious like that. You know what I think? I think these dudes realize they clowns. Like, Gilbert Arenas knows he's a clown. You know, it's just like people like that, you know? I really don't understand what that's even like. That's crazy. Nah, I really don't. I never get into that. If I don't like certain people, I will let them know from the jump. Fat Joe has never really been for black people, never vibed with black people. He was only being cool with them for a check. That's it. Everybody he rolled with and cool with. Have you ever seen Fat Joe rolling with anybody that wasn't Puerto Rican? I'm telling you, he been around more white dudes than it was black. It was always a Puerto Rican squad that he was rolling with. No black dudes in the mix. Hell, Khaled wasn't even black. He hung out with Khaled more. Man, I remember they was finna jump Roy Jones because Roy Jones was gonna knock him out. Roy Jones finna knock Fat Joe out. Fat Joe said, "Man, you might jump. Hey, Roy, you gonna knock me out. And I ain't gonna doubt that you gonna hit me and knock me out. But these dudes will kill you. And he was telling the truth. If you hit me, these guys in here, they gonna kill you, Roy. They gonna kill you. Yeah, even Roy Jones had to lean back. That line right there, when he saw Roy, Roy was ready to take off on him. They can't say they created hip hop in what form? Because hip hop is something that came together and got coined. People were doing things that was considered hip hop before it was hip hop. The dances they were doing in Africa back in the 1700s, 1800s. The dances that they doing in hip hop, they were doing them in Africa over there. Spinning on their backs, they was doing that in Africa. Walking on their hands, all the stuff that you would consider hip hop, they were doing back then. So to say somebody was rapping at that time meant macking. Like let me rap to you for a minute, homeboy. That's what rapping used to be. Like, let me talk to you for a minute. Let me drop game on you. So when you rapping to somebody, you dropping game, you dropping lines. Like, yo, man, your rap ain't tight. So rapping wasn't even about hip hop. It wasn't even about battling and all that. That's what they said, man, your rap ain't tight. That's what rap used to come from. And before that, graffiti, breakdancing, that was a form of hip hop. That represented the culture for years. So when one side tried to say they created it, it got coined in New York as hip hop. Because before that, you could say bebop was hip hop. You can go further than that and say Chuck Berry was hip hop. They just named it rock and roll. I could dig rapping. Right, exactly. So right, you can go to Gil Scott, Haran, you can go to any of them. So it's just that when they coined the phrase hip hop, you looking at, Kool Herc and Africa Bambaataa, the Zulu Nation, and all those guys, when they start coining it hip hop and coining what all of this was, then you can make a date for it and say, okay, now we're gonna say it was started this year, okay? So it's a 50-year business. Hip hop has been around for 50 years, coined, right? So it's coined as hip hop for 50 years. Even though you can go back further, it's been coined for 50 years. How many rich rappers we got in the game that's retired and doing well? Not most. Out of any artist, artistry in the world, meaning art form, whether it's rock, R&B, whatever, rappers have the most murdered, most deceased, most incarcerated. So the question remains, why would you want to be a rapper? And let me get this to the last part. Most underpaid. Mm-hmm. Well, it'll have to take over. But I gotta leave, y'all. It's been cool, but I gotta get up out of here. I gotta do some business, take care of some things. Some just really pissed me off. I just read an email that just messed up my day. So shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life, Mondo Black TV. Let him do his thing. Everybody out there representing my page, hip hop. Everybody who joined the Patreon. Appreciate y'all. My Carcino for Life Patreon. And don't forget, you could donate to the Cash App, which is Carcino. And I'm out.